Welcome back to Viking football with head coach Bruce Barnum as the Vikings come home this week to host the Idaho State Bengals at Hillsboro Stadium. It is a 2 p.m. game and a game that you can see on ESPN+. Before we talk about the Bengals, Coach, let's take a quick review of last week's game at the University of Idaho. The Vikings losing that one 42-35. And the thing that was discussed after the game, Vikings got off to a slow start, and so I know that's something that you and your staff want to adjust this week. What are you doing along those lines?
Yeah, Mike, our start, we can't have that. You know, they jumped on us early, but then we settled down, but it was a little late. They got 5 scores in a sneeze. So we've addressed it as a team. As a staff, we did some things this morning at our first practice since Idaho that I think will help. You know, just early in the practice, coming out with some game-like situations. Everything we can on the board, on the field, talk, walk, chalk, to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Well, the Vikings did fall behind by 4 touchdowns in the first half, but in the second half really got things going. Defense held Idaho without a yard of offense on their first 3 possessions. The offense really started moving the ball. Davis Alexander throwing it well to a number of receivers and made a pretty tremendous comeback to have a chance on the final play of the game to tie the game. Coach, there are no moral victories, but you had to feel good that your team stayed in the game and gave themselves a chance.
I did. This team doesn't quit, Mike. The effort's there. The wanna is there. And it was nice to see what they did versus Idaho in that second half. I thought Six played a heck of a game. The quarterback, he spread the ball to the receivers up front, the offensive line. They stopped themselves. And there at the end, able to get the football back on the 3-yard line with 20 seconds, drive down, have a chance. You know, we wanted to get to the 50-yard line. And it wasn't over. This team isn't going to quit no matter what happens. And to see one shot there on that last play of the game like that. But again, we have to make sure we're not in that situation. We got to stop playing catch up and play win.
All right, and as we talk about that offense, Davis Alexander threw for 424 yards, a career high. Says a lot for him because he's had a pretty good career throwing the football. He had 4 touchdowns. And I think the one thing very noticeable on offense was the return of Matayo Talalamotu. 12 catches, 196 yards, 2 touchdowns. A career day for him. He's been out with a hamstring issue for a few weeks. Really deepens your offensive arsenal, and he had a great game.
Can't say enough about him when he's healthy, Mike. As a football player, you saw a taste of it last spring versus Montana. Then you saw a taste of it at Hawaii on his touchdown there, and finally got him healthy. And then you got to see Matayo for an entire game. And this week it'll be even more fun. We're going to add 19 back. 19 had a cough due to cold, and he's over that. DC Darian Chase, we're going to add him to that group. Very talented wide receivers.
The Viking wide receiver core continues to play well this year. You mentioned Darian Chase, of course, Bo Kelly, Matayo Talalamotu, Marquise Spiker is getting into the mix, and George McCorley. So a really good group there.
Don't forget Nate the Great.
Oh, and Nate Bennett too. The freshman Nate Bennett has started every game this season. So a really deep group there. Coach, I know you want some balance on offense. You did get some pretty good run game from Malik Walker last week. He also had a career high, went over 100 yards. So as great as those receivers are, I know you want to have some balance this week against the Bengals.
We do. Again, we've said this probably every time we talk, Mike, about offense. We want to be 50-50 run to pass. You know, when we're at our top peak, that's where we want to be. But you mentioned Malik. You know, we've had some guys, some season-ending injuries at the running back position. And it's great to see Malik pick it up like that, pick up the slack. And he is getting better every week. That's what's fun to see from Malik. Every week he's sticking his foot in the ground. His numbers are going up, and against some good defenses. So we need to keep that up.
All right, let's take a look at the Idaho State Bengals. They started the season slowly, 4 losses, but one of the biggest weeks in Bengal football in a long, long time. Last Saturday, they knock off 7th-ranked UC Davis at home, 27-17. And Coach, the noticeable thing when I look at the numbers, obviously I didn't see the game, but the thing that I noticed, 3 interceptions by that Bengal defense, and we talk turnovers all the time, really made a difference. What do you see on film from that Idaho State defense?
First off, hats off to the Bengals. Huge win, ranked team at the Mighty Holt Arena. But they did. They had 3 turnovers against Davis. Their special teams did a heck of a job. Every time we turned the film on when Davis was starting on offense, it seemed like they were on the -1 yard line. They played a heck of a game, and they beat a top team in the country. So it's the Big Sky. The parity in this league, I think Rob Finney does a lot there. I think he's a hell of a coach. Roger Cooper, he's back and he played in the conference. They know the conference, so it's a quality team. Anybody can win on Saturday in this league.
And you mentioned those special teams. I believe the punter was Big Sky Special Teams Player of the Week. They pinned Davis down inside the 10-yard line 3 different times, made it a really long field, and that made a difference. We talked about special teams last week and the value that you can really have with some quality players there.
It is. We might have taken 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. We had some things we need to work on from last week. We had some snafus we can't have to win a football game like that, but we've addressed them. Coach Diffie's got them all fixed and dialed up, but it was. I mean, that's the third part of the game that people talk about, kind of as a afterthought, but it's field position, and you saw that came up huge for Coach Finney and the Bengals last week.
All right, we look at the game this Saturday at home. We know you're going to come out and watch it. Coach, what are the Vikings going to need to do to beat the Bengals?
All three phases. One week you watch us, our offense is lighting it up, and our defense, and there's special teams there, and then it's the defense doing a heck of a job, and other phases slow down. We need all 3 phases to perform. Nothing. Go out and play a football game. Stop worrying about that, and the other thing, and focus at that point of the day on just football. Kind of how we're talking about things, but it's time for us to put 3 phases of the game together.
All right, the Vikings are at home. They're going to be home for a few weeks. They have a bye next week, but this Saturday is what really counts. Come out to Hillsboro Stadium. Portland State versus Idaho State, 2 p.m. Also available on ESPN+. For all your information on Vikings football, go to govikes.com.